The fear and anguish of losing a beloved pet, especially during a natural disaster, is a heart-wrenching experience for any pet owner. The idea of their furry friends being alone in an unfamiliar and potentially hazardous environment is an unbearable thought, compelling many to go to great lengths, even risking their lives, to protect and reunite with their cherished companions. In November 2018, California was ravaged by the Camp Fire, the most devastating wildfire in the state's history. This catastrophic blaze engulfed 153,336 acres of land, resulting in staggering damages estimated between $7.05 to $10 billion. Tragically, it also claimed the lives of 86 individuals, making it the deadliest wildfire in California and the sixth deadliest in the United States. The town of Paradise bore the brunt of this catastrophic fire. With 95% of its structures and homes reduced to ashes, all 27,000 residents were forced to evacuate in a desperate bid to escape the relentless inferno. In the chaotic rush to flee, many residents had little time to gather their possessions. For some, leaving behind personal belongings such as clothing, furniture, and even their cars was a heart-wrenching decision. However, the most agonizing sacrifices were made by those who had to part with something far more precious than material possessions. Among those who faced unimaginable decisions was Andrea Gaylord, who had to leave behind her family's cherished home, a place steeped in 10 generations of history. As the flames devoured the century-old house, her two loyal guard dogs, Madison and Miguel, mysteriously vanished without a trace. Andrea and her husband embarked on an exhaustive search for their beloved pets, but the encroaching inferno forced them to abandon their home, leaving Madison and Miguel's fate shrouded in uncertainty. Seeking refuge from the relentless blaze, Andrea and her husband took shelter alongside hundreds of evacuees. Throughout those agonizing days, Andrea couldn't stop thinking about her missing dogs. After 17 days of relentless firefighting efforts, the Camp Fire was finally contained, and residents like Andrea were eager to return home, praying for a miraculous reunion with Madison and Miguel. However, when they attempted to leave the shelter, they were met with the devastating news that Paradise was still too hazardous to return to. Desperate and heartbroken, Andrea reached out to Shayla Sullivan of K9 Paw Print Rescue, who had been tirelessly rescuing lost pets from the areas affected by the Camp Fire. Upon hearing Andrea's plea, Shayla made a solemn promise to do everything within her power to reunite her with Madison and Miguel. As Shayla embarked on her mission to find the missing dogs, she received unexpected news of a dog matching Madison and Miguel's descriptions spotted in the city of Citrus Heights near Sacramento, an astonishing 85 miles south of Paradise. Shayla wasted no time and made the journey to Citrus Heights. To her amazement, the dog she was told about was indeed Miguel. In an incredible twist of fate, Miguel had somehow traveled from Andrea's home in Paradise and had been taken in by another local rescue organization. Andrea was overjoyed to hear the news about Miguel, but Shayla's determination didn't waver. She knew she had to find both of the missing pooches. With renewed resolve, Shayla loaded up her car once more and embarked on a challenging journey back to Paradise. The roads, now barely passable, led her through a town that had been reduced to ashes, a stark and haunting landscape of charred homes and vehicles, remnants of a once thriving community. Amidst such devastation, Shayla couldn't help but wonder if anything, including the missing dogs, could have survived in this desolate wasteland. Losing a beloved pet is a heart-wrenching experience, and the thought of them being alone and vulnerable in an unfamiliar or dangerous place is unbearable for any pet owner. In the face of a natural disaster, one California woman faced this distressing reality when her two dogs went missing. She turned to a local hero for help in reuniting with her pets, and what they discovered was beyond their expectations. In November 2018, California was ravaged by the Camp Fire, an unprecedented wildfire that left a trail of destruction in its wake. This devastating blaze consumed 153,336 acres of land, resulting in catastrophic damages estimated between $7.05 to $10 billion. Tragically, it claimed the lives of 86 people, making it the deadliest wildfire in California's history and the sixth deadliest wildfire in the United States. The town of Paradise suffered the most extensive devastation, with 95% of its structures and homes reduced to ashes. For Andrea Gaylord, the choice to leave behind her family's cherished 10-generation home was agonizing. However, as the century-old house succumbed to the flames, what weighed even heavier on her heart was the disappearance of her two loyal guard dogs, Madison and Miguel. Despite their relentless search efforts, the encroaching fire forced Andrea and her husband to evacuate, leaving their pets' fate uncertain. Seeking refuge in a shelter alongside numerous other evacuees, Andrea's thoughts were consumed by the well-being of Madison and Miguel. After 17 days of tireless firefighting efforts, the campfire was finally brought under control. Like many residents of Paradise, Andrea yearned to return home, hoping against hope for a reunion with her beloved dogs. However, when they attempted to leave the shelter, they were informed that Paradise remained too perilous for re-entry. In her desperation, Andrea reached out to Shayla Sullivan of K9 Paw Print Rescue, who had been actively involved in rescuing lost pets from areas affected by the campfire. Upon hearing Andrea's plea, Shayla was determined to do whatever it took to reunite her with Madison and Miguel. As Shayla began her search, she received an unexpected lead. A dog fitting Madison and Miguel's descriptions had been sighted in Citrus Heights, a city located 85 miles south of Paradise. Shayla swiftly traveled to Citrus Heights and was astonished to find that the dog she had been told about was indeed Miguel. In an incredible twist of fate, Miguel had managed to make the arduous journey from Andrea's home in Paradise and had been taken in by another local rescue organization. Although Andrea was overjoyed to hear the news about Miguel, Shayla was not content with finding only one of the two missing dogs. Her determination remained unwavering, and she embarked on the challenging journey back to Paradise. The roads leading to the once thriving town were barely passable, now a haunting landscape of charred homes and vehicles emerging from beneath the ashes of burnt treetops. Amidst such devastation, Shayla couldn't help but wonder if anything, including the missing dogs, could have survived in this desolate wasteland. Upon arriving at Andrea's scorched property, Shayla's question was answered. While surveying the charred landscape, she noticed movement amidst the rubble that was once the Gaylord family's century-old home. Her heart raced as she approached the source of the movement. It was Madison. Remarkably, the loyal guard dog had returned to the property after the fire had been extinguished, faithfully watching over his former home. However, a significant challenge lay ahead for Shayla. Madison, known for his wariness of strangers, immediately fled when Shayla approached him, not quite the typical behavior of a guard dog. Shayla knew that if she couldn't catch Madison, he would likely succumb to hunger and thirst. She needed a well-thought-out plan to lure the protective pup back home. Leaving a supply of fresh water and food for Madison, Shayla returned to Andrea to share the good news of her discovery, but also relay the difficulty she faced in catching him. Together, they brainstormed a solution. Using an article of Andrea's clothing, Shayla harnessed the power of scent to calm Madison and draw him back to the property. When Madison returned and found his owners and his brother waiting for him, the reunion was marked by tears of joy, excited licks, and jubilant yelps. Madison was reunited with his family and treated to a hearty bag of his favorite treats, wheat thins. Even in the face of catastrophe, Madison had displayed unwavering loyalty to his family and had protected their home at all costs. Andrea tearfully expressed her gratitude, telling Madison that he was the best dog she could ever hope for. In the midst of the destruction and devastation, Madison's loyalty and courage were not lost on Andrea. His steadfast presence during their darkest hour left an indelible mark on her heart, reinforcing the special bond between humans and their furry companions. Madison had indeed proved himself as an exceptional guardian and beloved family member. Meanwhile, in Chile, a similarly devastating natural disaster had occurred in January 2017. Towering flames swept through the south-central region, fueled by historically high temperatures and prolonged drought. This inferno consumed vineyards, forests, and homes, leaving devastation in its wake. Despite valiant efforts by firefighters, the flames continued to rage, leading Chilean President Michelle Bachelet to declare a state of emergency. Foreign aid from 12 countries, including Japan, the United States, and Russia, was enlisted to combat the inferno. The destruction was almost beyond comprehension, with nearly 1,500 homes reduced to ashes and 1,433,000 acres of drought-dry forests consumed by fire. Tragically, the blaze claimed the lives of 11 individuals in the El Mal region, and the scorched landscape offered little hope for the future. In the aftermath of this devastating fire, Francisca Torres, who ran an environmental non-governmental organization, NGO, called PUOS, along with her sister, embarked on an extraordinary mission to rejuvenate the scorched forests. Their plan involved an unconventional and curious team of helpers, border collies named Summer, Olivia, and Das. Together, they aimed to expedite the forest's recovery. The project, which began in March 2017, drew inspiration from the legend of Johnny Appleseed, an 18th-century American